Hey everybody, I'm back up here with the no air conditioning, so I'm gonna be sweaty, but that's okay, because today I'm excited. I'm pretty happy. I am launching, it's on the website now. There is a 4-season sample pack of Pear Mountain Oolong. Now what does that mean? That means that there are 4 seasons of the tea available for sale, and I've got a sample pack out there. It's got 25 grams of each one of the teas, all together for like a little bit of a discount. And so it's the springtime, the fall time, the winter time pick, and then a really super special one. I've also put that up on the site this morning. And that's it's like a farmer's only pick. So this is a pick in sort of late November, early December, sometimes mid-December. But basically what happens is, up there on Pear Mountain, it's 2,000 meters above sea level, so they get some snow. So they wait until the first frost hits, and then they go out, and then they pick the leaves, and then make a tea out of it. And as you can imagine, it's a very, very, very small amount of tea that's actually picked. So it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit amount of tea that's picked, and I've got it. And it's like, I'm calling it like a farmer's only pick, in the sense that there's not a lot of it there, and the farmers, they usually just keep it for themselves. Hey everybody, and Ryan. Yeah, well, it's gotta be like 2:30 in the morning, right? So, and what's more important than tea? Sleeping? Come on, that's just crazy talk. One sec, I forgot my little weighing station. I'll be right back. It's right here. But I'm glad you're there, Ryan, because it has been quite some time. And I'm hoping that in the next little bit, I'll be able to be doing earlier ones. Once I get my air conditioner set up here, the free one that I still don't have, that I'm still waiting for, anyways, it's okay, it's not too hot today. But I'm so excited to be able to drink these teas right now. I mean, I'm just so excited, because I drink a lot of teas, all the different teas, but I love the Pear Mountain teas. And I love the Pear Mountain teas for a bunch of different reasons. One of them simply is, I love the people up there. And I consider them my friends. We exchange gifts and holidays and things like that. And they're just wonderful people who live up on the mountain there. And I love visiting them. I love spending time up there. And I'm just so happy that I can sell their tea. You know, they can make some money and I can sell their tea. How do I manage with no air conditioner? Well, I sweat a lot. I also take off my shirt, and not my pants, but I do take off my shirt, and just sweat a lot. But yeah, this is kind of a new space. Not really. I wouldn't say this would be a new space. I've been doing lives here. This is my sort of my warehouse area, and so I do a lot of packing the tea up here when it's not too hot, and this is where I store a lot of my teas. And it's like the perfect place to age pu'ers, right? So I've got a bunch of pu'ers that I'm aging up here as well. And it's like the perfect place to age pu'ers, because, they say like Taiwan stored pu'ers are like the best place to store the pu'ers. And just because it's so hot. And I'm getting in some like serious, amazing Gushu teas. And I'm gonna store them here, and they'll be available on the site as well, but they're gonna be like the premium, like best of the very best pu'ers, and I'm gonna be storing them here for a buddy of mine, which is very exciting for me. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But Greg, man, when are you coming? You know, like, I can give you some work packing tea if you want some work packing tea. You know, I don't know if you need that extra little bit of a. I don't know if you need that extra little bit of a push to get over to the island, but I hope it's going well. Cold brewed some Pear Mountain the other day for 14 hours. Results were sublime. I bet they were. I haven't gotten around to doing that because I've just been so busy, but I've done it a bunch of times, and it's just so nice. Just so nice. It's like drinking, I candy mixed with a soft drink mixed with, anyways, it's just an amazing experience. So this here is the winter tea, and I've waited to open it because the smell of it I just absolutely love. It's just so good. Oh, it's just so good. I mean, it's just, but I put up on the website, right? Like, this is about double the price of the other Pear Mountains, just because of the nature of it and what it is. So I do kind of, I put that up on the website that if you've never had Pear Mountain, the fall, the cheap one, is going to be good enough. But if you love the Pear Mountain stuff, then this one's just like a next level tea. It's just so beautiful. Just such a beautiful tea. But here we go. So we got all of them here. Now, I guess I could show you the different leaves and how they're different and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they kind of all look the same. I mean, they just kind of do. I just want to say that you got the best job in the world. I don't know about that. I mean, I've had a lot of jobs, and this one I kind of enjoy at the moment. But I'm not making that much money right now. So if I'm doing this job and it's pumping out the cash, then it's the best job in the world. Right now, it's still a hobby job. But I've got a full-time job. I've got a family, and this is my job for the future. So this is the job that I'm never gonna retire, but this is the job that I'm gonna have sort of to retire with. So I'm gonna do 30-second steeps, 45-second steeps, and then we're just gonna go through sort of the taste profile of the different seasons of Pear Mountain. And you can generalize it a little bit to all the high mountain teas in Taiwan. You really can. So what you're looking at, so this is spring, fall, winter, snow. So I've just done it through the season, starting with spring. So this is the 2018 spring, 2017 fall, 2017 winter, and the 2017 snow. So this one is picked first week of May, early May. This one's picked last week of August, so late August. This one is picked sort of late October, early November, depending on the season. And then this is picked right at the end of November or early December. And that's sort of the seasons, the 4 times that they do the picks up on the mountains is this 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4. So I got my water on the boil. I'm gonna set my timer here. And so I'm gonna do 30-second steeps on these guys. Now again, I apologize if I'm sweating a bit. It's just sort of the nature of where I am at the moment. There's actually a nice breeze coming through here, and I'm hoping that it starts to rain soon. Because if it starts to rain soon, then that'll be pretty good for me, actually. Because then the rain will waft in, and it'll be just perfect. It'll be so nice. But what I'm doing here, 30-second steeps. So each one of these are about 100 milliliters, and I'm doing about 3 grams of tea for each one of these. A couple things to remember when you're going through doing this. I mean, I would so suggest doing this. I mean, if you get the sample pack and you have the time and you have this many gaiwans, do the side-by-side tasting. So this is called a horizontal tasting. Or I guess maybe it's a vertical tasting. Anyways, I would probably consider this a horizontal tasting just because it's all from the same garden, all from the same place, and they're processed in the same way at the same spot. And it is, I'd probably consider it a horizontal tasting anyways. So here we go. Let's start with the spring. So this is the freshest tea. And so you've got that, the smell of it. But what you get with the spring is like a softness. You get a softness in the spring. The vegetal is really nice. The floral is a little bit less than the other. Well, we'll see. The floral's a little bit slower coming out. Strong vegetal, but just a soft, rounded nature of the tea leaves. Then we got the fall here. So the fall one is it's like the difference between these two is probably bigger than the difference between the other ones, because the fall one, you can smell the heat It's got much more butteriness. The vegetal is stronger. So nice. So here we go. Here's the winter one. So this is, other than the spring one, this is the most recent. So this would be picked in last fall. And so this one's got the floral. The vegetal is a little bit less, and the floral is quite strong, flowing forth from it. Wow. And then we got the snow pick. So interesting. So with these, the smell after the first steep's just coming right out, right? It's just coming, it's popping. Whereas for the snow one, it really takes about 3 steeps before it really gets going. And you can sort of see it all. So like even with the first steep here, the tea is a lot sort of still in the balls. So it's still in the balls of the first steep, whereas these guys are already starting to open up. Especially the spring tea, it's already starting to open up, softer, coming out. But these guys are tightly rolled, and it's cold. So it's a big difference because the oxidization, remember, all of these are about 25% oxidized. So this one, the oxidization takes a lot longer because it's the snow tea. It's snow. It's cold. There's a frost going. So the oxidization is slower, more subtle. The balls get tightly rolled as well because it's colder and they don't sort of open up. And so it comes out in the liqueur. Like you have to wait a little while to drink. Like it comes out in the third steep. Hey, how's it going, my good man? Hope you're having a wonderful morning. And but yeah, we got a nice mix of people joining in today, which is nice. I'm so glad to share this with everybody and drink tea and have everybody around, because it's there's not as many rabid tea heads, rabid tea lovers, strange people who would enjoy talking or watching some random guy taste 4 of the same teas from different seasons from the same garden. So I love to share it, right? I live on the other side of the world, and it's a lot of fun to share it. So thank you for joining in. So here we go. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to taste some of these teas. Now, it's kind of hard to see here, obviously, with the live session and things like that. But slightly different colors in the liqueurs. So this one, the spring tea is pretty heavy. It sort of goes like this. So from the spring to the fall to the winter to the snow tea, in the sense of darkness or deeper color. So it sort of goes like this, going down for these teas here. But let's have at it. So I'm going to go with the spring tea first. Again, this is just on the site, so this is new on the site. I just put up this sampler for these different teas, so you can do this yourself as well. And I haven't done this. I did this, I guess months ago in a live session, but I haven't done this for a very long time. So this is the spring tea. And with the first steep, you're always going to get a little bit more of the bitterness, a little bit more of the vegetalness, and then the aftertaste is there, but it's not quite coming out strong. But I'm always amazed at the springtime teas, how soft they are. So like drinking this, it's just, even with the first steep, I'm getting that really beautiful softness, roundness to the flavor, roundness to the taste. So here we go, the fall. So just straight off the bat, the fall is just a stronger flavor. It's less of the vegetal, more of the butter. And so it doesn't have it has it, but it doesn't have, remember in Taiwan, what are they looking for? They're looking for strong flavors, right? They're looking for the florals, the bitternesses, the astringencies. That's sort of the Taiwanese sort of taste point. Whereas the spring tea right off the bat has some of those right away. The fall tea doesn't, and that's why the fall tea is so much cheaper. Right now, if you like the butterness, or I think the fall one also is almost, how to describe it, the fall one is almost more suited to the Western palate, in the sense that it's got more of the butteriness, it's a little bit sweeter, certainly less bitterness and astringency. And let's go for the winter here. So in the winter, you really can taste like the coolness of the fall. You can taste the fall. There's more vegetal. It's like a, the smell in the fall, the difference, just what the air is like, a crispness, much more of the vegetal in the fall. But this is the first steep, so there's actually not that much there, in the sense of what the flavors are actually going to do. And so this is the winter one, and I mean these two, right? The first steep with these two, there's just kind of not much there. Like there's just kind of not much there. And you get a touch of the aftertaste, you get a touch of the what's coming, you get a touch of it. But like I said before, the wintertime teas, and especially the snow teas, take about 3 steeps before they really get going, before they're really like, well, you can try it yourself, or you can trust me on it. But I really, I just love this spot. So just to go through again, you've got the springtime tea, the fall time tea, the wintertime tea, and the snow tea. And so the flavors with the springtime tea, they're up front, they're just starting. It's a softer, there's more things in the first steep, there's more stuff there. Softer, there's more vegetal, the floral's nice and florally and all that sort of stuff in the springtime tea. That's why the springtime teas are so valued here in Taiwan, is because of that sort of that taste point. Then you got the fall tea, which is richer, darker, deeper, right? And you've got sort of the butteriness coming out, even with the first steep. But then these two, there wasn't too much in the first steep, right? The first steep for the wintertime tea and the snow tea, not so much. Hey Raymond, how's it going? Hope you're having a good one. And so you're just about to go open the shop. We're right on. Drinking some all 4 seasons of Pear Mountain Oolong today, which makes me wildly happy to stick this up on the site. So here we go. We're gonna do 45 seconds this time on these guys. And for these 2 teas, the second steep is going to be one of the better steeps going into the third steep. And I haven't had these teas side by side before, so I'm curious to see what happens with the snow tea and the winter tea with the second steep, because I don't really remember what happened with the snow teas and the wintertime teas with the second steep. But we'll see what happens anyways. I know that the third steep and the fourth steep is just not having a good start to the day, and I think the weekend will be crap too. Well, that sucks. Hopefully it gets better for you. Hopefully the glass is half full for you. So this is not exactly scientific. I should have 8 hands to be able to do it perfectly. So these teas are getting a little touch more steep time than they should, but that's okay, because this isn't a science experiment. This is sitting enjoying some of, from my very biased opinion, some of the best tea on the planet. So here we go. So let's give a sniff to the leaves again and see what they're doing this time. So the wintertime tea is opening up. There's some floral in there, and it's getting pretty good, but it's still not quite fully opened yet. Oh, so this one opened up, and from the first to the second steep, the wintertime tea, beautiful. So are all these seasons from the same tea garden? Yes, they are. So they're all from the same place. I mentioned it earlier. This is the springtime, so this would be picked this is 2018, so this was picked about 3 months ago. This was last fall, so 2017 fall. So I guess this is the oldest tea. I guess I probably should have put them in a different order. Anyways, this was last August, and I was actually there when they made this one. This one here is the wintertime tea from this winter, so this would have been in late October, early November, and this is this year's snow tea, so this would have been picked like early December. Very special tea. All from the same garden, all from the same place. And they're from probably my favorite tea garden on the planet. Now, the story behind this tea garden, it is run by a nun and her sons. So there is a nun up there, she's a Buddhist nun, and she came to it obviously later in life. And the story is that the land was given to them given to the family by the government, because the grandfather at this point, he was an army guy. And so when he took, instead of taking a bunch of money, when he retired from the army, he said, I want a piece of land. So they gave him like this cliff on Pear Mountain. And so what they did was they planted a bunch of fruit trees. And then the monkeys got them. So the monkeys came down, and every season they'd lose all their fruit to the damn monkeys. So they're like, this sucks. We're not doing this any longer. Screw the monkeys. And so, because this area is just surrounded by rainforest, right? It's just surrounded by rainforest. And so what they did was they slowly pulled out all of the fruit trees and planted tea plantations about 40 years ago. So all of these teas are about 30 to 40 years old on this cliff face. And if you look through my feed, then there's just like these things that I've got, the drone videos of Pear Mountain, and I should put up a picture of the wonderful lady who makes this tea. And the story is simply this: that the tea is processed up there on site. Now, to get up there, you need I can pull it off because I've been driving in the mountains for a while, but you probably should have a 4-wheel drive car. It's at least a 3-hour drive from any major city. It's on the side of a mountain, and there's no way to drive down to it unless you're like really, really, really skilled. So for me, I can't drive down to it. You have to walk down this trail about 20 minutes to get down to the farm. So when they pick it, it's all picked and processed on site. The only thing that leaves is the finished product. Everything is done on site in the factory there. So when it says organic, it's like it's organic, right? It's surrounded by rainforests. Nothing can get down there. There's no cross-contamination. I mean, this place is one of the most glorious places I've ever been. I just love it. I love it. I love that place, and I love the people there as well, because the people there. Let's put it this way. So you've got the nun, but she's the only sort of nun. Now the rest of the people who live there and work there and do the stuff with the people there, they're just normal folks. And it's also normal folks in the sense that when they're doing it, because it's such an amazing place, they take time off work to come up and help with the processing and the harvesting of the teas, which I'm going to be trying to do for the winter pick. And they, when they're processing the teas, so you've got the normal people who just love it, and they're just like, this is so amazing, I'm so happy to be here. And then you have the nuns. So when they're actually processing the teas, they will go half an hour of different kinds of music, and they'll switch half an hour, half an hour, half an hour. So half an hour they will put Buddhist mantras, so like chanting and the Heart Sutra and all these various Buddhist mantras. So they'll have that for half an hour. Then they'll switch to like top 20 hits or top 30 hits or whatever they call it nowadays. So you'll go from, like to Despacito or whatever the hell's going on, and so it switches back and forth. So when this tea is being processed, there's Buddhist mantras going on, like it's just, and then it flips to Despacito, or I'm mangling the pronunciation of it, but it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and the people there are just so happy. They're so happy to be in this beautiful place producing this beautiful tea, because this tea, well, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. But anyways, we'll keep going. The tea gardens you post always look like paradise. Well, that's what I look for, right? I look for those gardens that have everything with them, right? They've got to have the beauty, the environment, the people. And I'm kind of lucky because I can speak the language, I have my own wheels, I love the culture here, and so I can travel around till I find those spots. And anyways, pretty unique skill set. So this is the spring tea, and this is right opened up. So like the spring, you're getting a lot more stronger flavor, because remember, it's been the longest period of time without being picked. So basically October all the way to May, they're dormant, and then they pop up. These leaves pop up, and you've got more of the bitterness, astringency, floral, all of those things wrapped together that really sort of push that beautiful Pear Mountain, and then you get that aftertaste, right? I mean, the aftertaste is so good. It's just, the aftertaste is just so beautiful. Living the life to the fullest, well, as I mentioned before, not quite yet. I'm not making very much money. so I still have a day job, and that day job I enjoy, but I'm getting a little too old for that. You know, I'll be 40 in a couple of years, and it's like, you know what? I think I'm going to try and do the tea stuff full time. And when I do that, I think it'll be living life to the fullest, but who knows? Who knows what'll happen. But it's pretty good right now. I really do enjoy it. But I'll tell you, it's been a struggle to get this far. You know, learning the language and the culture and all of that. Delay of gratification. But I think it's kind of worth it at this point when I get to drink this tea and talk to wonderful people online, and who knows, maybe somebody will buy some and then I'll be like, yay! But if not, that's okay. Then I'll have the big stash of tea that I can drink for like the rest of my life and age it. So this is the fall tea. Now, a lot of people, when they're doing this taste testing, a lot of people, because this fits the Western palate just perfectly. A lot of people really like the fall tea the best. And in Taiwan, it sells for the cheapest, right? And that's when I first started up the website. I only had the fall tea on there because it was so cheap. And but some people have already done this. I've sent it out to a couple people. And so when you're doing this guy here, I mean, it's like it's hitting all the Western taste points. It's sweet, it's so buttery, right? But it doesn't have the bitter astringent floral stuff. I'm not saying this is really bitter and astringent, that's not what I mean, but you know, like if you've had high mountain teas before, you get that little kick. It doesn't have the kick. It's softer, buttery. This is the fall one, of course. And you know, like this one is my favorite, like to my heart, to my soul. I'll always love this one because this is the one we found the garden. I was there with a good buddy of mine, a couple good buddies of mine actually, and we walked down, and I went first and I yelled up like, they're making tea, and I ran down, and they were making this tea, the tea that I'm drinking right now, and it was like the smell coming off, and just when I was first getting into really understanding the tea world. So this one will always be my favorite, just for emotional reasons. But it's a good one. Pretty sure it'll succeed. Let's see. You are as old as you feel, and what's your day job? I take people into the mountains, and I have synergies, right? So all the pictures of the mountain streams and things, that all comes from my day job. I take people up there. Pretty sure you'll succeed, just wait a bit. You know, Leo, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not, because I love it, and I know it'll be fine. So Raymond, have an absolutely wonderful day. I'm hoping it's nowhere near as bad as you think it will be. I hope you're pleasantly surprised, my friend. So let's go to the wintertime tea. And it's just starting to open up now. One more steep and it'll probably be even better. But the wintertime teas just have that, like a vegetal, a sharp vegetal, and then the aftertaste just pops up. Like it's got that crisp fallness to it, right? There's an edge to the fallness in the sense that wintertime's coming, right? Not to quote I guess everybody knows what that means, but you know, like, you know, there's a sharpness to it, right? There's a crispness to it. And then comes this milky, sweet, beautiful floral aftertaste in the back, right? Up front, there's a crispness, there's a little bit more of an edge, and then it peters off and goes out to this beautiful, buttery sweetness. The aftertaste is so good. Like it's just so good. With these ones, I think the aftertaste with this, the upfront for the fall is more buttery, sweeter. The aftertaste is there, but it's not quite as much. The springtime, the aftertaste is soft and round and floral, whereas the wintertime tea, the aftertaste is really strong and really hits you. Like it's just a stronger experience all the way through, which is strange because I guess the wintertime teas sell at about the same price as the springtime teas, but they're very different, very different feeling. It's a very different feeling between those two teas, because the wintertime tea is a lot sharper, like I mentioned before. It will be better. It is going to be a big surprise. Well, Raymond, I certainly hope you do have a wonderful surprise. I certainly hope so. And so this is the snow tea. And even with the second steep, there's not much happening there. Like, there's a touch in the aftertaste of what's coming, a touch, but even with the second steep, it's not there. It's not there yet. Like I put a big warning on well, I guess it's not that big, but I put it on the website when I was doing it. I said, I wrote it up. I said, it's going to take a couple steeps for the snow tea to get going. And again, because it's so cold when they pick it, the oxidization process is much, much slower and much, much more drawn out and much more, the oxidization for the lower elevation black teas is just sort of like, it only takes about 12 hours after they roll it and it's done. The higher elevation oolongs, when it's cold, they can take 2 days of just sort of sitting there for 2 days. And people walk in, the tea master walks in, smells it, goes, it's not even there yet, right? And so that's the thing where this tea in particular, if you're not sort of expecting the blast of the fall, you're not going to get it with this one right here. Right? You're not going to get it with the fall or with the wintertime tea because it takes longer. It takes longer. And even with the aftertaste, I'm getting a touch of that aftertaste coming out right now. I'm getting a touch of it. Right? There's a teeny weeny bit of it coming out now. But I'm going to put these guys in for about a minute now. So this time it's going to be about a minute. And I'm using boiling water for each one of these steeps. You really should be using boiling water for this Pear Mountain stuff. Obviously the cold brew is glorious, especially the wintertime teas. The cold brews are just, it's something about the cold brew for the wintertime tea. It sort of matches it. And so that works really, 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 really well. But also too, we'll see how much time we've got left. But I'll try and see if we can see the difference in the leaves when maybe after, we'll do a fourth brew and then I'll put these guys in here and just let them steep for a bit. And then we'll pull out the leaves and I'll try and show you the difference between the springtime, the fall, the wintertime, and the snow pick leaves. Just because there is a difference, right? There is a difference between the leaves. And if you're really highly skilled, you're going to be able to tell the difference. You're going to be able to tell the difference. Again, within a very small range of high mountain oolongs from Pear Mountain, right? As with everything, most answers with tea begin with, it depends. It depends. So should leaves be broken? If you get broken leaves, is that a low quality tea? It depends. So all of those things, right? So here we go. So one more time, we've got the springtime pick, the fall time pick, the wintertime pick, and the snow tea pick. It's starting. The snow tea's starting, which makes me quite happy. And there's various versions of the snow tea. I remember they have one that was a couple years old that there was actually snow on anyways, I won't tell you about that one, but because I don't actually have it for sale. But they, for me, doing this style of tasting with the garden that I love and from the people that I really enjoy, I really, really enjoy it. I mean, it makes me happy to drink this tea just because I can trust it. Yeah, I'm selling it for sure, right? It's out there, I'm selling it. But the people who, if somebody buys it and drinks it, then for me, it's just like from the soil and the earth of Taiwan, which I love, to the garden and the people, up there who makes the tea, who I love, and then to me and my family, right, who I love, to the customers out there who get to drink the tea, who, depending on who they are, I might big L love them or small L love them, but whatever. To the people out there who drink it, there's nobody who's losing. The people up there, they get the soil is kept safe, and the soil erosion is down because they're old trees, and they take good care of it. It's organic. The people up there, they get a fair price for it, and they can survive up there and make money, and it's good. And I can take my cut and help my family and my community, and then people who buy it, hopefully people will think it's not too expensive, but I certainly don't think it is for what it is. And the other things that I've had, some of the other websites, but anyways, won't get into that. But the people who drink it, they can enjoy it, but it also makes them healthy, right? Tea is a medicine. And good organic tea is absolutely a medicine. So I have to put some sort of distilled version of that on the website. So this is the spring tea. And it's just so soft and round. The third steep coming out here. Soft, round, beautiful. The aftertaste is just gorgeous. All the edges are gone. So in the first steep, you're getting some of the bitterness and astringency. By the third steep, it's all gone, right? The bitterness and astringency is totally gone. Beautiful rounded flavor. You can taste the soil, you can taste the earth. You can taste the freshness of the area. And this one here with the third steep, it's kind of at its peak. Now, you can see with 3 grams, the Gaiwan's not actually full. So you can easily do 5-6 grams in a Gaiwan like this, 5 grams anyways, in a Gaiwan like this, and you get a much more intense flavor for much longer. Just for 3 grams, it's sort of at its peak right now, and then it's going to go down slowly, go up and down. Some of the floral flavors are going to come out and pop. Sort of that beautiful Pear Mountain stone fruit sweetness is going to be in there for a while as well. And it's just going to be quite nice. So the sweat's starting to form. I apologize. I hope no one's offended by sweat. It's hot in here. I'm waiting for the rain, which hopefully comes soon, but hopefully my free air conditioner will come soon as well. So different. So the springtime tea and the fall time tea are just so different, so different. So this is a much richer, deeper, buttery. It doesn't have the high notes. It doesn't have the softness, right? It's much heavier. It's got the butterness to it, sweetness to it, and just more chewy. Right, it's just much more chewy, whereas this is light, just floaty and soft. Whereas this one's much more like, like buttery and sweet, strong sort of flavor. But it's amazing the difference between these two. It really is. They're from the same garden. There's a lot of commonalities, of course, but the springtime versus the fall time, you can definitely see why there are some people that really much more enjoy the fall time than any of the other ones. And again, the price is right. The price is right. So this is the wintertime tea. And the wintertime tea has, at the third steep, it's losing a lot of its bitterness, astringency, vegetal, sort of gone. Not to say that there's all that much. But what you're getting is a touch of the fall butter, and then it's moving into this really high floralness that's really different than the springtime floral. It's crisper. It's the fall time floral, right? So it's crisper, it's richer, it's deeper, sharper. All of those things in it as it flows through, and really like a really interesting juxtaposition, especially drinking them this way. I mean, that's why I chose to drink them this way, right? So you've got the lightness, the springtime tea, then you've got the earthy butter of the fall, and then you've got this wintertime tea that's like, it's sort of mixing the two up, kind of. Well, anyways, that's not the best way to describe it, because it's not soft. Like it's a sharper, stronger tea. But what you've got in there is sort of the fall butteriness, right? So you've got this hot period of time where it was building up the sort of the butteriness coming into it as well, things like that. But then you've got that fall. Like it really reminds me of 2 days after the leaves fall. And I grew up in Canada, in Toronto. So 2 days after the leaves would fall, and they're still fresh, but there's the sharpness to it, right? And you have the incoming idea of the winter. You know, there's a slight bit of a sharpness to it, right? The sharpness to the leaves, you know they're gonna rot. They haven't started rotting yet, but there's a sharpness to it. There's an edge to that smell, but it's super fresh and super crisp and super beautiful. But there is that edge to it. There is that little to it. And this has it for sure. So there is a little touch of a bitterness to it in the aftertaste. But the floral is so crisp, so sweet, so beautiful. So here we go. Let's go to the winter tea. So let's see. Hopefully it's opened up. So it's opened up and it's there, but it's going to be the fourth steep that does it. It's going to be the fourth steep that does it. That's so interesting. So the wintertime tea is a lighter tea, just all through until you get to when it really lets loose. Now this is the third steep. It hasn't totally let loose yet. It hasn't, which I find so fascinating to drink them side by side like this. So real delicate sweetness, really delicate and sweet. Delicate, sweet, and beautiful. No bitterness, no astringency to speak of at all, but still really light. Now I apologize for the sweatiness. I mean, it's like really rich, really rounded. It's such a different tea. It's just got different characteristics. And I'm looking forward to the fourth steep. I'm looking forward to the fourth steep for that tea. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to the fourth steep. And then I am going to take out these leaves. Looks like these leaves have basically opened up fully. And I'll take out these leaves and I'll show you a couple different things. One way to know how that your teas are high quality hand-picked, right? So if I go like this, right, just boop, you know it's high quality and hand-picked because you've got a bud and 2 leaves, right? You got a bud and 2 leaves. Every time I pull out a stem, just a random stem, you're gonna get, you know, this, oh, we got a cheater. Oh, we got a cheater. So there's a bud and there's an extra leaf here. So that's a cheater. But but, you know, if I take out another random one here, then you've got the sort of the bud and 2 leaves, right? It just happens again and again and again and again and again. And that's how you know you have a high quality, hand-picked tea. So here we go. 1 minute. 1 minute. So this will be the last steep for these guys. If I've got enough water, I'll try and do a last steep for the snow. I'll try and just steep the heck out of it. I got enough water for that one. And then we'll take them out, we'll take a look at the leaves, so that hopefully I can give you a little bit of an idea of how to tell what season your leaves were picked. Again, all of these teas are from the exact same farm, from the exact same tea master, from the exact same producer, picked probably by the exact same hands, right? This is a tea garden that everybody wants to go to if they love tea. Speaking to the tea masters when I was there, you know, I'd be like, so you go to other tea gardens? They're like, yeah. I'm like, any others you'd recommend? And they'd go, no, this is the best of the best. You know, and they'd look at me like I was an idiot for even asking. like you see it, you're tasting the tea as we make it. Are you mentally deficient? Can you imagine a better tea garden? I mean, can you even like use your imagination and come up with something that would even be, you know? And so there's just huge amounts of pride in this tea. There just is. You know, there's just huge amounts of pride in this tea as they make it. And that just, it always blows my mind to think about it, because, you know, I go to a lot of different tea gardens, and you see the difference in the different tea gardens. You go to the different ones, and, you know, some people, they're like throwing the, like I went to one that was actually quite a famous one. You've heard of it, I'm sure you've heard of it, but it was their factory, another sort of Western-owned tea garden. And they were making a gaoliang, which is an alcohol-flavored tea, and they had the tea on the ground, and they took out some alcohol, and they were just like throwing it on this tea. And they were walking on it with their shoes, and they were sweeping it up, and there was dust and crap getting in with the teas. And I just sort of went, you know, like, what are you guys doing? They're like, who cares? You know, like, this is low quality tea, who cares? And it really was an eye opener for me, which, you know, is one of those things where I'm, you know, I'm always so, you know, one of the things, it's the people that I take, that I go to, that I love, that I get my tea from, you know, they got to take it seriously. They got to take it as seriously as me, in my very biased opinion, thinks that they should take it seriously. But anyways, hey Mystic, how's it going? Are you all wet? Because I live in Taiwan, and I am in a room on the 3rd floor, and I've been waiting patiently for 2 months for a free air conditioner that still has not arrived. My free air conditioner has still not arrived. Now downstairs there is a room that is air conditioned that used to be my room, but for various reasons, mostly because I don't use it that often, I've given that room to someone else to use, who is happening to use it right now, which sucks, but it's okay. I mean, you know, like, it's a free air conditioner. I'm saving like, I don't know what, 1,000 US maybe? No, probably not that much. $600 to $700 US. So I can sweat a bit on live sessions, as long as nobody's offended by it, right? As long as everybody is in North America after all. But interesting fact, the Western or Caucasian genome has twice as many sweat glands as the East Asian genome, which is why you don't see a lot of deodorant commercials in Asia, just because they got less sweat glands, which is fascinating for me. Obviously, I've got a lot. But anyways, let's keep going. So this is the springtime tea. And so into the 4th steep, and the flavor peaked at the 3rd, and now it's slowly going down. Now with these teas, they don't go like this. You get some black teas that after the 3rd steep, they just go, and they're cardboard. These teas don't do that. You can drink them for 10, 12 steeps, but they do go down like this, especially the springtime tea. Springtime tea opens up softer leaves, fresher picks, opens up and the flavor just goes out really quickly. So that's what's happening with the springtime tea right now. The second steep and the third steep, but right now we're sort of the strongest. This is the fourth steep, and you've got like this beautiful, the real aftertaste. The upfront, not too much there, and then the aftertaste just goes right. Like it's just so round, soft, sweet, floral, subtle, right? All of those different things. So here we go with the fall. And so same thing, fall time tea, we're in the fourth steep, so it's sort of going down. Still got lots of flavor, but not quite as much as the third or the second steep. And butteriness, it's a little bit stronger in the aftertaste, not quite as soft as the spring, so you're getting more of the strongness there. And it's nice. I mean, it's just nice. You know, it's probably my favorite tea for emotional reasons. And that aftertaste is something I just love. Stone fruit, sweet sourness to the aftertaste. And that's what's in this guy right here. And that's just beautiful. I thought you were in from the rain. Well, usually I remember to wear black when I do this, but I thought I was going to be able to use the air-conditioned room down below. But alas, sweaty. But that's okay. I'm drinking enough tea. It's like, I'm sure it's the same thing as like a sauna, right? It's healthy. So this is the wintertime tea. And it's got this sweet, beautiful fruitiness to the front end. All right, so the wintertime tea had, when you first started out, there was a sharper, crisper, sort of little bit of a bitterness, a stringency to it. That's completely gone right now. So in the fourth steep, you're just getting like, just a really beautiful, I'm just gonna use up the rest of the water in this wintertime one, just as I remember. And so it's just like the wintertime tea is just a stronger, crisper, it's fall time, right? Like they call it wintertime, but it's the fall. It's right before the wintertime, the last sort of pick, the last, like I was describing before, you know, like the fallen leaves as they hit the ground, before they start to rot, that fresh, crisp taste and smell. Well, taste, I mean, I'm sure in my past I've put some of those in my mouth, either on purpose or not. But it's just a different feel, right? It's just a different feel. Now, same garden, same producer, same tea master, everything is the same. And, you know, asterisk, if you're not a huge tea nerd, this is probably not the best thing that you should spend your money on. You know, like straight up, right? I mean, the differences between these teas are subtle. I'm not saying that you know, this one tastes like fallen leaves and this one tastes like springtime. Like, they're subtle. But if you love tea, I mean, the thing I got up on the website is so much fun. You know, 25 grams of each one of these teas, and it's so much fun. Awesome watching the stream. Gotta go. You have a wonderful weekend yourself, my man, and thanks for joining in. We got about 5 minutes left. I'm gonna take out the leaves and show everybody the difference between the seasons, and that's probably it. But I'm glad to see you. I mean, it's been a while since I saw you on a live. And if anybody needs pictures of tea taken, that guy right there, the guy hiding behind the camera and the little icon there, he's the man you should talk to for sure. So there it is. So there's the wintertime tea. And it's so hard to describe. The snow tea, I mean. It's so hard to describe. So the fourth steep, and it popped. The fourth steep, and the flavor's out. The fourth steep, and you are sweetness, smoothness, roundness, crispness. I gotta try and figure out if I can figure out the flavor here. It's like an apricot, fresh apricot, almost ripe, but not quite ripe apricot smell. Or taste, there's like a fruitiness to it that these guys don't have. They don't have that round fruitiness. And it's so hard to describe. Like it's just a different tea, and it comes out that the nature of it, right? So that the essential nature of this tea, this snow tea, is just different than the other teas. It's just a different beast, right? I mean, these teas, this one, okay, is a little bit slower. The wintertime's a little bit slower. Springtime's much faster. You know, the fall's in the middle. But this one, you really do have to hit the fourth steep before you get something, right? Before you get the real hit. I'm trying to describe this flavor like a sun-warmed frozen apricot thing. I mean, that's a little bit of stewed fruit in there. It's so hard to describe. It's so unique. It's such a unique flavor, such a unique thing. I mean, what I'm gonna do actually after this is I'm gonna dump this into really hot water, and I am going to just keep it for 5 minutes and really sort of draw out as much of the nature of this thing as I possibly can, because it's just such a unique tea. Anyways, let me go to it, okay? The leaves, how do you tell the difference? We got about 3 minutes left. I'll try and do this as fast as I can. How do you tell the difference between spring, fall, winter, and snow teas? First test. You go like this, and straight up, before you even start, you've got to tell. This is super soft, super soft. Like these leaves are just like pillowy soft. And then over here, little bit harder, a little bit firmer. These guys over here, even firmer. And then these guys here are much firmer. They're much firmer. Now, again, this is like tea nerd level. You know, we can make a meme out of it, right? It's like tea nerd level 1000. You know, with the like the role playing games thing at the bottom. This is, you know, like if you're going like this with your tea leaves and you're able to tell the difference between them. Every garden's different, all those different types of things, but this is a great tell. Okay, springtime teas, when you take them out, they're gonna be a little bit lighter colored. So they're gonna be lighter colored, softer, more delicate. The buds are gonna be pretty small on them. And the leaves are gonna be mostly intact. So we got the 2-minute warning. I apologize, I should have done this before, but anyways. So the leaves are mostly intact. Then you got the fall time pick, and some of the leaves, they're gonna be bigger leaves, and some of the leaves are gonna be firmer, so they're gonna be rolled, and some of them, there's gonna be more leaves like this. If you find a springtime leaf like this, and you see a lot of them, chances are it's not even springtime tea. Then the wintertime teas, they're gonna be a little bit longer. You can see they're a little bit elongated. These guys are gonna be a little bit elongated as well. And a darker color, so the color of the leaves are darker, and they're gonna be a little bit more beat up around the edges as well. So you can see here, they're gonna be a little bit more beat up around the edges. Now the wintertime tea is gonna be the most beat up. It's gonna have the most firm leaves, and this is a classic example of a wintertime snow pick leaf. Really dark color, really strong, right? If you're getting a springtime tea like this, it's probably not a springtime tea. And so the leaves are gonna be stronger, they're gonna be more beat up. But they're also going to be sort of more intact than the wintertime teas because they're stronger. They've been picked in a stronger spot. And some of them, even with as much as I was doing with the steeping, some of them didn't even open up. They're going to be much firmer, much stronger, much tighter rolled for the wintertime teas, and especially for a tea like this, which is a snow tea. I'll try and do that part again, and maybe I'll try and do a YouTube video about telling the difference between them. But anyways, I got about 10 seconds left. As always, thank you so much for watching. I actually have a secret sale going on if you go to Reddit. Thanks for watching all the way. If you go to Reddit, the tea sales in Reddit, there's a secret sale going on. But anyways, have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining in.